Well, hello there. Is it a quiet storm? I like that. How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. So I like that quiet storm. That's nice and powerful. Sounds deadly. Quiet storm. I like that. Good evening, everybody. Hey, just be real. Good evening. You know what? I got glasses on and the letters are still small. I got great vision. I got great eyesight. When it's little, okay, now I look like a little old lady, huh? Trying to see what it says. Hey, just be real. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I'm on Instagram. Hey, Betty McGee, I'm on Instagram, on Facebook. Good evening, everybody. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. Hey, Ernestine, how are you doing? Hello. Hey, just be real. I see you. I see you. And you see me too. Good evening. Okay, so that's Instagram. That's my Facebook. And this is my, no, hold on. This is Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Got it. Oh, no. I need you to be still, Ernestine. I need you to keep still. Yeah, I need you to keep still. Sit down somewhere. Hey, Frosty Cupcake. Oh, thank you. Well, Frosty Cupcake, I don't know you, so you can't moderate for me because I don't know you yet. Yeah, after you go, I need you to sit down somewhere, Ernestine. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hello, Alexander. Oh, well, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Let's see. Let's see here. So I'm just waiting for a few more people to come on. I know my Facebook is sometimes kind of slow, but that's all right. That's okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Frosty Cupcake. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Well, while we're waiting for people, let me go ahead and just put out the disclaimer. For those of you that are tuning in, let me look. Today is Sunday, the 22nd. 3 more days before Christmas. Hey, Shelly. 3 more days before Christmas. It is 8:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it is Sunday. I know some of you guys are a few hours ahead, but if you are tuning in right now over here on Instagram, if you look up at the top, it'll say live. Over here on Facebook, if you look up in the corner, it says live, and YouTube, it should say live. If it does not say live at this particular moment, that means you are probably coming back to watch the replay. And if you are watching the replay, I appreciate you guys for coming in there. Hey, Lisa, coming in here. And do know a lot of times I I put that disclaimer out because a lot of times people will come in and get angry because of the fact that I don't respond to the greetings and the salutations, because of the fact that usually the greetings and salutation come after I'm already off. And so I really appreciate. Hey, Rika, how are you doing? Long time no see. Hey, is it Jahi? But a lot of time, and so some of you guys are, why in the world are you telling us this? Because of the fact that sometimes people come on and they say hello and they get upset at me because I don't give them greetings because they're coming to watch and they're on the replay. And so it is 8:22 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it is December 22nd, 3 days before Christmas. And so if you are tuning in and it is other than that or later, then you are probably watching the replay, but I'm so grateful that you are here. And so let me make sure. Hey, on just be real. Hey, Sharima. Just be real. Can you go check on my Facebook to make sure I'm live on Facebook? I have to make sure I'm on the right one. Make sure I'm live on Facebook. If I'm live on Facebook, then I will thank you. I appreciate it. Then I will I'll go ahead and get started. And but thank you guys. So you do okay, good, good. Thank you so much. I was just making sure because there are no comments coming through, so I don't know if it's taking a minute. Where did it go? Hey, Charlie Felton. So there are no comments coming through, so I'm not sure if it was already on. So thank you so much. You got a lot of work to do over here on YouTube, so I'm gonna leave you alone, let you handle your business, Charles Setter, because the trolls are coming out. And that means if the trolls are coming out, that means you already know we're gonna have a good program tonight. So I am glad that you guys are here. And I'm gonna leave you alone, just be real. I'm not gonna be all up in your job. I'm gonna let you do what you do. Cause that's her and Sharima. Sharima, y'all got this. So y'all block, and you don't have to give. If they saying crazy stuff, you don't have to worry about giving people a timeout. Just block them, you know. So thank you guys so much for being here. I was just waiting for a few minutes to have some people come on to Facebook while people are filtering in. I hope you guys are having an awesome week. We got 3 more days before Christmas. Hopefully you guys are excited. I'm excited. I get to spend time with family, take me some time off, because usually I don't take a lot of time off because I'm usually, as a therapist, we work all the time. So we try not to. Thank you so much. But uh, so usually we work a lot because, people still have crises. It doesn't matter whether it's the holidays or not. I do take time off, so I do self-care. And so I'll be taking some time off and spending time with my family and my extended family. And I hope that you guys, have a peaceful Christmas holidays. I know for some of you guys, this is for some of you guys are OGs. So you guys have been here since I started doing these programs. So some of you are way beyond your first time being alone, first Christmas by yourself, first New Year's by yourself. And some of you guys are new to the channel, and this will be your first time, your first time for the Christmas holidays, your first time having to do this by yourself with your kids. And I am commending you for making that tremendous step because it's very painful. But do know that we are here to support you in your journey to getting better. So since we have talked a little bit, let me go ahead and get started. My name is Dr. Carmen Bryant. I am the host of Overcoming Narcissist. I am a licensed mental health counselor here in the state of Washington. And I am also a certified trauma professional. And I am I want to say facilitator. Obviously, I'm a facilitator, but I'm also a vlogger, or what we call an influencer. And I do talk about overcoming narcissist abuse. I specialize in domestic violence and narcissist abuse recovery. And tonight's topic, some of you guys are probably looking like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you would put that topic up there. But you guys, you've been around long enough, you already know, right? You already know it's gonna have we're gonna have a great conversation tonight. And the question is am I, and on my little YouTube thumbnail, I put, am I a narcissist test dummy? I meant to put apostrophe S, am I the narcissist or a narcissist test dummy? And so a lot of you, sometimes when you're triggered, the first thing you'll start thinking to yourself is, oh my gosh, how can you be so cruel? I'm nobody's dummy. I'm nobody's test dummy, But hear me out. Let me explain to you what a test dummy is. Okay, some of you guys know. You've been around long enough. I think the test dummies came out in the 1950s, and they were created and manufactured by automobile companies and automobile companies and aircraft manufacturers. So automobile and aircraft manufacturers. And test dummies, as you guys know, and I'm reading because I had to write me some notes. So you know that automobile and aircraft manufacturers created these test dummies, and each one of these test dummies are cost up to like $1 million. So I want you to think about it for a minute when you're asking the question, was I a test dummy? And some of you guys are already appalled, clutching your pearls, because I was a test dummy too. So just to let you guys know that I'm in the boat too. So I was a test dummy too. And let me explain to you. So test dummy, right? It's a $1 million mannequin that was created to be as anatomically that of a human body. The weight, the size, the height. Usually the average size was like 5'9", 170 something pounds. And they will put them behind the wheels of cars. And they have computer systems in them to record data so that they can record the impact of frontal car collisions. They would record the impact of traumatic car injuries to see how it internally affects a human body. How much trauma can a human body take? So it predicts the injuries of a person, what a person may sustain in a crash. So that's a traumatic event. That's horrible. If you think about it, it's a traumatic event, it's a horrible event. It records data such as velocity of impact, crushing force, bending, folding, or torque of the body. It studies the effects, so they record this so they can study. These manufacturers can study the effects of frontal crash impacts on vehicles, and they assess internal organ and rib spine effects during side collisions. Now that's one Hey Danielle, that's one definition. Hey Jay White, how are you? Thank you for being here, sir. But those test dummies, they were created to record data so that car or aircraft manufacturers can create vehicles or aircraft that are safer for human beings and to protect them for that type of trauma. Think about what I'm saying now, and you're thinking like, how does that relate to being with a narcissist? Think about what I'm saying, okay, and apply it to yourself. So these crash dummies are created to test, to see how much a human body can take. How much damage can a human body take from the impact of collisions or traumatic events like this. Now, the second definition of a crash dummy is kind of more like I talk to a lot of Gen Zs and millennials, and they give me that new vernacular so that I can stay hip. They laugh at me because I always tell them I need to stay hip. I need to stay hip on the language that's being used by our younger people. And what they told me was, and I had to go look it up as well, a crash dummy is someone that is used as a scapegoat, a contraband runner, so a drug runner, or an enforcer. Usually, the one that is used as the crash dummy doesn't know that they're the crash dummy. They usually want to prove themselves so bad, do anything to prove their loyalty, even to a point where you hear a lot of them say, we don't snitch and we don't call the police. Listen, and in this situation, and let's back up a little bit because I'm gonna tie all this in together. When you're dealing with a narcissist, and a narcissist is looking for supply or looking for new supply, when they're looking for supply, they have to see if you're, especially if these are more of the malignant narcissists. All narcissists are malignant. When you talk about malignant, you also talk about antisocial. But a narcissist, especially those that know the damage they can do, they already know the damage they can do to a human mind. They already know what they can do to people because they already think that everyone's going to leave them once they find out how they are. And the one thing that they're going to do in order to see if you are good supply. Now, you have to think, to them, good meaning bad, bad meaning good. And even for us, when you start talking about good versus bad is twisted and backwards. And when you start talking about good supply, what they're looking to see is that if you can handle the impact of the trauma that they know that they're going to impose on you. They're trying to see whether or not you are loyal to a point where they can push boundaries and get away with stuff without you, number one, getting them in trouble, or number two, you trying to get away from them. Not every supply that they chase or try to connect with are they successful at getting, because there are some people that do not believe in the drama and the trauma that a narcissist brings forth. And usually it begins to slip out if you're paying attention. If you're paying attention, it begins to slip out, to a point where some people are like, yeah, no. and they will cause a narcissist injury ahead of time before the narcissist even connects with them. Or a narcissist does not, like I said, a narcissist doesn't get every supply that they chased after. Because some people like, I'm not going to put up with that nonsense. That sounds confusing. I'm not, yeah, no, that's okay. But the thing about it is that a narcissist has to test boundaries. They do things to see just how far they can push it with you. And that's male or female. They try to see just how far they can push this person. And for most people that have grew up in households with narcissist parents, or you have grown up in abuse, neglect, rejection, physical abuse, the other inappropriate abuse, if you've grown up like that, or you have had bad relationship after bad relationship, you went from narcissist to narcissist, abusive relationship to abusive relationship, and you have not given yourself an opportunity to heal, that means you are wide open and your wounds are wide open, and they try to connect with you and you're trying to connect with them. The problem is that you are already wounded and your pain tolerance is very high. You ever hear people say, my pain tolerance is very high, so I don't really know when I'm hurting, but by the time I figure out that I'm hurting, there's already a lot of damage been done already. Think about that. Some people's pain tolerance are so high that, they don't even have to take medication. Or a lot of times when they, like former addicts, they'll let you know when they go in and they have to put them under anesthetics, or they have to give them the pain medication, everything they need so much, because of the fact that a lot of their receptors are damaged, and their pain tolerance is so high that they are being introduced to so much pain invoking, whether surgery or the pain that they're being exposed to, that the pain tolerance is so high that they don't know when damage is being done. By the time they figure out damage is being done, is already to the point. It's like the frog in the boiling pot theory, where you put the frog in there and you turn turn the heat on the water up slowly, and the frog keeps adjusting itself to the water until it won't jump out until it gets to the point where it's boiling to death and doesn't even know it. And that's the same way that a narcissist does. A narcissist pushes boundaries, pushes boundaries to see what your tolerance level is. And it may go beyond the level at which you had already been, and they push you beyond that, because they push you to a certain point and pull you back and then soothe you. It's like they give you that numbing spray, or they give you some anesthesia, and then they push you again. They push you to a point where you cry out, whether it's an emotional pain, whether it's some physical pain. I mean, even to a point where I've known of young women that have been knocked out, that have been beaten, abused, drugged, all sorts of stuff has happened to them, and they're still loyal to that narcissist, to a point where they have gotten so far, to a point where they won't even call the police for help, and will brag about the fact that that's not what we do around here. We don't call the police. We don't do that. We don't snitch. We don't call the police because we're loyal. See, that narcissist has already manipulated you and given you language, knowing that there's a possibility that you may need to call the police to protect you from this fool that you are connected to. Because if you don't, it will get to a point where they will take you to the edge, or may even unalive you. And you become unalived, and no one is there to report this person because they're afraid, or there are these rules that are in place by this narcissist, and you won't say anything. And then the crazy part about it is these individuals may tell people that, that's not what we do. You're a police caller. This is what we, and people are looking at this individual like, you really have something psychologically wrong with you. They do. They have something psychologically wrong with them. And a lot of times the people, and I'm not saying everybody, this does not apply to everybody, okay? But a lot of times that narcissist knows that they push you to the edge, and they will, I remember this young lady telling me that the narcissist told her that he looks for women that got daddy issues. He looks for women that got emotional problems. He looks for those type of women, and then he plays daddy and makes them call him daddy. But he makes it seem like, and they'll do anything for this narcissist. They will unalive, they will harass, they will stalk. and he triangulates with them. He triangulates where he gets them fighting each other. And sometimes they're fighting each other so much that they don't realize that that narcissist is the puppet master. The narcissist is the puppet master. Hey, Elvin, hi, Elvin. But that narcissist, even the females, that narcissist. Hey, Trish, the narcissist, Renine, how are you? But the narcissist becomes that puppet master, where they have you triangulating with all these different supplies because they're feeding them information. He's feeding, or she's feeding each one of these different supply with information to force them to fight with each other, right? To fight with each other. And then they back up to watch these people fight each other. And they're fighting each other so much that they lose focus of who's the puppet master behind it. And some, listen, gentlemen, please do not be angry when I say this, because most of the time women are really petty. Women can be very, very petty, gossipy and petty and jealous. But there are some narcissists that are petty, that are gossipy. They sound almost like women. But what they do is they throw little information out to these different supplies to force them to fight each other. To force them to fight each other because they feel empowered. Remember, these are crash dummies now, because it doesn't matter. They can handle large amounts of pain. And sometimes the sad part about it is when you grow up in a traumatic, flying monkeys. The crash dummies are flying monkeys as well. But when you've grown up in a hostile environment, that's all you're accustomed to a point where some people believe that if he doesn't put his hands on me, and I say him because I haven't heard men say this that often. I'm quite sure that that there are women out there that are like this, but gentlemen, I'm accustomed to men being like this. So please forgive me if you have experience with a woman being like this. We know that it is possible. So we're not hating on you. We know that it's possible. But oftentimes you have what was I saying? I was reading the comments and lost my train of thought. You know what? I ain't losing my train of thought. But you have men that become petty and gossipy, and they what they do is they feed these supplies to make them fight each other. And what happens is they're so accustomed to fighting each other, they don't realize who the puppet master is. And some of these women even get to a point where they'll just do anything that he says, whether it is, hey, Renee, hey, classmate. But they'll do anything that the narcissist wants them to do, to a point where there are some of them out there that are prostituting. There are some of them out there that are selling narcotics. There are some of them out there that they got so many emotional issues that they're always drunk or they're always high. They even set them up because they want to see how far they can push these boundaries and how loyal these women are, or men, but to see how loyal these women are, to a point where they even push them to sacrifice their kids over them. Give your kids to your mom because I don't even like your kids. Those are not my kids. I could care less about your kids. And these crash dummies, and if you were one, we're being honest tonight. If you were one, I was a crash dummy, but not that. I wasn't that. You know what I mean? Because at that time, I used to fight too. But there are some that are willing to give up, sacrifice their children, give them to CPS, put them in foster care, give the rights over to their parents or whatever, chasing after this narcissist, because that's the sacrifice to be with this narcissist. And that narcissist would push the limits only to walk away and you don't even have your children anymore. To walk away and you regret the decisions that you made because you up everything to chase behind an illusion of perfection. They breadcrumb you and you chasing after a lie. You're chasing after a lie. Even to a point where, we were talking about that narcissist has to see how much pain tolerance you have. And they're constantly going to push you to see how far you would go. To see how far you would go. To see how much you are willing to sacrifice. To show your loyalty to this narcissist. And they'll let you know, I'm all about loyalty, but they're not loyal at all. A narcissist will never be loyal. That's like, there, what does it say? There's no loyalty among thieves. What is it? There's no loyalty among thieves. Is that the correct saying? But a narcissist pushes you to the limits. And for most people, oh, that's what I was getting ready to tell you. For women, thank you. For most women, a lot of times their pain tolerance is so high that they can push them to the limits where they believe that a man does not love me if he doesn't cuss me out or if he doesn't put his hands on me. Because a lot of people that have been so wounded and have never had anybody to interject to teach them anything, they don't know anything. So they think that if that narcissist puts his hands on me or cusses me out, then he doesn't care. And so what they have what's the word I'm looking for? They have put together their thoughts about what love is, and their thoughts about what love is and how love is totally delusional. They believe that if I don't get cussed out, if he's not angry with me, if he doesn't call me out my name or put his hands on me, he doesn't care. And gentlemen, some of you are calm. Some of you are calm. Some of you brothers, some of you kings, you're calm. You don't like a lot of drama. I don't like all that hollering and stuff. I got that southern draw. I like that hollering and stuff. I'm gonna let you calm down, and once you calm down, I'll come back and talk to you. And then these women are looking at you like, what's wrong with you? There ain't no way that you this calm. I mean, at least holler, cuss, or do something, to let me know you care. But that's what happens when you are so delusional and you have been so wounded that you associate love with pain. Love is not painful. Not saying that you won't get hurt. From time to time, we all get hurt, but love is not painful. But there are some people that associate pain with love. They grew up in households where the people that they love, the caretakers that they have, the mothers and fathers that they had, number one, they abused their authority and their position as parents. So they abused authority, they abused their position that they had as a parent, and they took love and they misconstrued what love is. They perverted what love is, and they have children growing up that if I'm not being hurt, because they associate that with authority and they associate that with a person that I love, and if I'm not being hurt, then that's not love. So they associate love with pain. And so when you get older, a narcissist knows when they are on the hunt, they're looking for people that have a high pain tolerance, because that means I can subject you to the highest level of pain without you leaving. That's how I'm going to lock you in. Everyone leaves, but I got to find a person that's able to tolerate the most amount of pain and lock you in. So if I lock you in, and I know that the more I push you and the more you tolerate and the more you forgive me and the more you come back and it doesn't take very much, then I know that you are good supply. But do you see how that's so backwards? You're a good supply. That is good supply to them. Bad supply is a supply that puts up standards, that puts up boundaries, that is able to walk away. Ladies and gentlemen, you can love somebody. But if you're dealing with a narcissist does not have the capacity to love anybody. They're critical about themselves. So what make you think they're not going to be critical about you? They have low self-esteem. They have low self-worth. So why are they going to say anything good about you? If they're saying something good about you, it's because there's an ulterior motive. You know what I mean? There's an ulterior motive. And usually when they're love bombing you or they're wanting something from you, they'll give you everything that you want. Now check this out. When you're talking about a crash dummy, a person that doesn't even know that they're a flying monkey, and usually they're the last ones to know that they're a scapegoat. A narcissist will use that person even to a point where if you love me, you'll take the rap for this. If you love me, You'll go to prison for me and take the blame, take the hit. Or they'll say it, they may not say it directly, but they'll say it, they'll they'll say little things to allude to it. And so that individual, the one that loves them, you know, will take the rap for something because they love them, and I'm trying to prove to you I love you. So I'll do anything to show you, hey Elijah. But they'll do anything to prove to that narcissist that I love you. Now they're sitting in prison showing this person that I love you, and that narcissist is going about their life because you took the rap for something that they've done. They don't mind. And it is a systematic process with a narcissist. It's the little things that you're not catching. Remember the frog in the pot theory? It's the little things that they're doing that you keep pushing your boundaries. You keep push in the military and battle. I know you know what I'm talking about. In the military, when we used to go out into the range with our M16s and we used to qualify on our rifles, they had the candy cane. The candy cane. What were they called, Elijah? On both sides of the range, it was the candy cane post that let you know your limits of your weapon. When you're pointing your rifle, there are these candy cane poles that are on both sides of the range. So you have all these people in these foxholes. We're all in these foxhole and we're qualifying on that rifle. But when we turn those rifles, which in the foxhole, when you're in front, it looks like this right here. So it looks like this right here. So that's the limits right there. But when you stand up and look, this right here is hundreds of range flares. There we go. The candy cane poles. Those candy cane poles are called the range flares on both sides of the on the range, so you know how far you're allowed to turn your rifle. And so when you're looking at the soldier, when we're in the foxhole, it looks like this right here. So that's the distance that your rifle is going, like about this far. So when you're like this is about as far as you're going with your rifle, like this, right? So it doesn't seem like it's that far of a distance when you're doing that. But when you're standing behind the soldiers and you're looking at the rifle, the distance is hundreds of meters. Hundred is a very large distance in between, the distance that you're turning that rifle. And with that narcissist will make sure that they keep moving those flares so that you keep moving it a southpaw. What's that? But what happens is that they keep moving the limits of those side flares on the side so that your boundaries keep moving. And when those boundaries are moving, you're liable to hit one of the soldiers that are right next to you. No, I'm a right-hander, but it's just backwards in the camera. But what happens is if you don't have those limits inside of that hole, if you move your rifle too far, oh, Southpaw is left-handed. Oh, okay, thank you, Jim. I ain't know what that was. Now you know you old. No, I'm a right-hander. My dominant side is my right. It's just in the camera is backwards, and so I'm a right-hander. But my dominant eye is my right eye. But when they move those boundaries, you're liable to hit people that are next to you. And the people that are next to you, hi Hatcher, the people that are next to you, those are called collateral damage. Collateral damage are the people around you that you damage because of the fact that you're chasing behind an illusion. You're chasing behind your next high. That's what's happening. Do you know how many women are fighting other women that are not even fighting them? Because you get so into the he's mine, he's mine, he's mine, or she's mine, she's mine, she's mine, that it's almost like, that trigger. You hear something and you fidgety. Oh my gosh, someone sent me an email. Oh my gosh, somebody text me. Do you know right now, I know of people that are getting sent text messages and emails and threats, and they're being cussed out because the narcissist started all this. And in actuality, the people that they're chasing behind is not even the people that are actually antagonizing them. It's the people that they've decided to be best friends with that are also our narcissist supply. And these narcissist supply that have been, what's the word I'm looking for? That have been discarded, totally discarded. They connect with the new supply or the next supply to be BFFs so that they can watch what the other one is doing. And they're the ones that are antagonizing each other. So they're also triangulating. And so they come together to scapegoat another source of supply so they can come together and attack another source of supply. And the bad part about it is the narcissist set it up where they're actually the enemies and they got them focused out so that they can come together and fight. Isn't that crazy? But just think about having a conversation. Having a conversation like this is just completely confusing. Completely confusing. That is the life of being with a narcissist, completely and utter confusion. They give you these rules. On these rules, we don't call the police. You know, snitches get stitches. You know, we don't call the police. We don't do. Now, listen, I understand that there are a lot of police that are dirty. We know this. There are a lot of police that are dirty. There are a lot of us that are having to protect our brothers, our kings, our children from police because you do have police out there that are dirty. But you do have police officers. And the sad part about it is there are some police officers that have desecrated or they have embarrassed the badge because they're a bad police officer. And then it makes the good police officers look bad. And there are police officers out there that love their job and they love helping people. My stepfather was a police officer and he believed in taking care of people. Now, my stepfather was in Mississippi and I'm way up here in Washington State. And years ago, my church was at a church picnic by the lake. And this guy walked up and we were just talking and we offered him something to eat. We told him to enjoy the service because we were doing service. And we started talking. I asked him where he was from. He said he was from Gulfport, Mississippi. I was like, what? So I'm talking, trying to find out whether he knows people. And I was like, hey, I said, you know, they used to call my stepdad used to be a police officer down there. They used to call him Freight Train. You know, Freight. He's like, Freight is your dad? Wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. Freight Train's your daddy? Freight. And so come to find out that he was in trouble with the law a lot. And he got to a point where he had gotten into trouble. And my father, my stepdad, ended up having to go to arrest him. But what happened is he had a conversation with him. He talked to this gentleman. He wasn't a young man either. He talked to this guy, tried to help him get back on his feet and everything. And he said, if it wasn't for your stepdad, if it wasn't for your dad, he says, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. He said, it was because of your father, Freight. He said that I'm where I am today. And I was like, wow. And the reason why I told that story is because every police officer is not a bad police officer. Some of you guys are law enforcement officers, and you know that you do have the heart to help the community. It's the bad apples that make the bunch look bad. You see what I mean? And so the thing is that a narcissist will take that, and they will take the bad and play the bad up. And, you know, there is street code. You know, you guys know that there are street gangs and there are street codes. We don't mess with the police. We don't call the police. We don't do that. A narcissist takes that and they take that overboard. So they let you know, if you got loyalty to me, if you loyal to me, you're not going to call the police. That's not what we do in this community. I'm a such and such man. I'm a this and this woman. I'm a whatever. So they play up on your emotions, everything. And what happens is because you are trying to be loyal to prove your love, because you want this narcissist to love you. So you play into this game to a point where I know women that have almost been beaten unalive. Oh my God, they threaten them. They've almost unalived these women, knocked them out, got them on drugs, got them out here prostituting to bring in money to support. You know what I mean? And yet they will not call the police because they're trying to prove themselves. And the sad thing about the whole situation is the narcissists don't care about nobody, to include the person that they're connected to. That is just a means of survival. You can make money from me, I'm going to connect. And what I'll do is I'm going to give you what you're looking for. I'm going to reward you for your loyalty by giving you some attention. I'm going to reward you for your loyalty by paying attention to you. I might breadcrumb you and buy you a cheeseburger from McDonald's. You know, I tell you I love you if that's what you want to hear. But a narcissist, ladies and gentlemen, a narcissist does not have emotional empathy. A narcissist has cognitive empathy, meaning they understand how emotions operate, so they know how to manipulate emotions. They know 1 plus 1 is 2. They know if I push this button, this is what happens. I know if I put this in this, this will happen. I know to insert emotions here. I know to do this right here. And I know if I say this, it'll cause you to do this. So they understand, cognitive, they understand cognitive emotion, hold on. It's emotional empathy and cognitive empathy. They understand cognitive empathy because they understand how to manipulate people. But to be able to put their feet in your shoes and feel your pain. For example, if God forbid, those of you that have lost a mother or a father, please accept my sincerest condolences. Hopefully this does not trigger you. But for those that have lost parents or loved ones, for us to step in your shoes, to think like, I cannot imagine what that would feel like. I have my mother, I have my father, I have my children, and to lose, I cannot imagine the unbearable pain that you would have to go through. It makes us sensitive to you. Is there something that I can do? I know I can't bring back your loved one, but is there anything that I can do? If I just have to sit here and hold your hand and be with you, and we may shed a tear because we're watching you cry. So we may shed a tear because we can only imagine how painful that is. A narcissist cannot feel those emotions. They'll look at you and they see you crying, so they'll put two and two together, like, maybe I should cry with you. Sometimes they just look at you like robots because they're not sure. And then what's happening is you're giving them information on how they're supposed to act. You don't even feel anything. You mean to tell me you don't have any type of empathy? The average person, what do you want me to do? The average person would cry. The average person would hug me. The average person would console me. See how you're feeding them information? So you're feeding them information and they're taking that data so they know next time what to do. But a narcissist does not have the capacity to love you like you love people. They don't have the capacity, they don't have emotional empathy to feel what you're feeling or feel the pain that you're feeling. They are turned on. They are thrilled by the fact that you express pain, that you react to what they do because they feel empowered. Ooh, I got you to move. So you have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, a narcissist, when they're choosing supply, they're trying to see who has the largest or the highest pain capacity. If you have, if you have the capacity, or you have a high pain tolerance, you are a good source of supply, because they know that you will tolerate the pain that they're going to put on you. You're going to stay around long enough for them to keep superimposing this pain on you, and you're going to be loyal. And while you're being loyal, they're going to superimpose more rules to keep you there while pushing you beyond your boundaries, beyond your pain limitations. That's why some people, spoke to somebody before. Her husband was a law enforcement officer, and what he would do is clean his gun right in front of her, clean the gun, and then leave the gun sitting right there in front of her, and or go to sleep with the gun sitting right there, right in front of her. Clean the gun, look at her, and put the gun right there. She said he ain't gonna do nothing with that. He ain't gonna do. He's a law enforcement officer. He ain't trying to. I said no. What he's telling you is that he's trying to see, whether you believe him or not. Anything that a narcissist does, believe him, because he's letting you know, I'll unalive you and myself. He's testing to see whether you believe or not. So he does things, and your pain tolerance is low. It takes a person on the outside to look in to let you know that he's testing you. He's testing to see if you're afraid. He's testing to see whether you believe him. And a lot of times when they unalive themselves or their families or anything like that, it came because he or she didn't believe that they would do it in the first place. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's sick. It's sickening. You know what I mean? And so that's all I had to talk about tonight. So I know a lot of you are looking at it like, what is she talking about? I'm not nobody's crash dummy. We were all somebody's crash dummy at one point in time. We if you had a narcissist more than 2 or 3 months, you were a crash dummy, and they were trying to see just how much they can impact you, and whatever pain they can cause, or however you got away, they'll try it different with the next person. It's not that they feel pain. I mean, it's not that they feel that they hurt someone and they don't want to do it again. No, you got away, so the next person, they'll lock you down differently. For example, this particular supply tolerated pain up until a certain extent, and then they said no more. I don't care whether you take everything. I got to live in a box. I'm getting up out of here, and I'll restart my life. You can have whatever you want, bankruptcy, whatever. It don't matter to me. I'm getting up out of here. See, so what they figured is I didn't lock that person in good enough. So the next person that they get with, they'll lock them in with large investments, $1 million this, large investments. They lock their money up to make it harder for them to leave. But they also look for a person that's desperately wanting to be loved, that they're desperate. So they do, you got different types of narcissists. Some of them are very romantic narcissists. They'll do everything that you think that you've been missing, everything that you told them that you're hurting, they'll do it. Spend time with you, cry over you, buy you stuff. You ask for something, anything that you want, they'll get you. And they lock in your money, or they lock you into properties, or they lock you into investments. So it's hard for you to untangle. You always hear, oh, what a wicked web we weave when we first practice to deceive. But with that narcissist, if one supply escapes, the next supply has it harder than the first one or the second one. And what they'll do is they entangle you so much and confuse you and entangle you so much that it's hard. It's like octopus legs all over you, where it once you remove one, there's another one that wrapped around you. So it's hard to get out of it, because 9 times out of 10, you did not take the time or do the work to heal. Because once you take the time to heal, gentlemen, the same way. Now, one thing, hey, self-care, like Cluster B Free says all the time, self-care is not selfish. Men, you could take bubble baths. There's nothing wrong with you taking bubble baths. Ain't nothing wrong with you going to get them hooves scrubbed so you don't tear up nobody's sheets, to include your own. Ain't nothing wrong with you getting your footses done so you don't tear up your own carpet. Ain't nothing wrong with you getting a nice manicure, and self-care is okay. Women like a man. I'm not saying you go overboard with it now, but what I'm saying is women like a man that takes care of themselves. Get a massage, get your feet done, get you a nice manicure, get you a good pedicure, get your feet, get your feet right. You shouldn't be walking around like you've been jumping around in flour, and cooking flour. Your feet ashy, your ankles ashy. Men, lotion ain't that bad. Ladies, you too. There's nothing wrong with, yeah, trim them eagle claws. There's nothing wrong with you getting your feet and your nails done, getting a massage and taking care of yourself when you're stressed. Going out and sitting and getting a cup of coffee, gentlemen. There's nothing wrong with going to Starbucks, sitting down to get you some tea, or if you're not a coffee drinker, get you some tea. Sit down and read a book and relax and enjoy yourself. Go over here. Danielle, no, you come over here, and we have Mount Rainier. You can see Mount Rainier, so you can go to like the lakefront, just the lakefront or something like that, and you can just sit and enjoy, looking at the mountain, sitting, drinking coffee, and where you're sitting at. I'm gonna take some pictures and send it to you guys on there. But you sit, and you can see Mount Rainier in the background. You can see the water. You can see all the water. You can see the yachts. Sometimes it's nice just to go out there and dream. Look at these beautiful yachts. One day I'm going to be on this yacht, to have a conversation with a yacht owner. Hey, what does it cost to get a yacht like this? What does it cost? How do you pay to, just go on a ride on a yacht? You'd be surprised at the people that you meet. If you be friendly, people be friendly back to you. You know what I mean? And so there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. There's nothing wrong with taking yourself out to eat. I like taking myself out to eat. Sometimes I date my daughter, sometimes I date myself. Take yourself out to eat. Go, listen, ladies, gentlemen, we got some really nice fancy restaurants up here, especially up here where the Seattle Seahawks are. Go out there, put yourself in an environment. Go out there and put yourself in an environment and introduce yourself to a better life. You may not be able to do it all the time, but save up some money and take yourself to a really fancy restaurant where there are other entrepreneurs and football players and business owners and millionaires, and look and see what do they talk about. I used to tell my soldiers this when I was in the military. You got to dress for where you're going. Your mind has got to be to where you're going. You get around people of where you're trying to go. If millionaire is something that you want to be, put yourself around millionaires and see what do they talk about. How do they dress? You'd be surprised. They don't dress the way you think they dress on TV. They don't have to bling bling and show off all the time. A lot of the millionaires that are around here look like the average person. Blue jeans, some nice tennis shoes, maybe a nice little jacket or a nice shirt or something like that. But then you sit, I sometimes when I take myself out to eat and you sitting around, you could tell that they're millionaires, but you could tell the ambiance of where you're at. I think I was sitting down, either this gentleman was a retired judge or he was a retired surgeon, something like that. And then you could tell him and his wife, they looked like the average person, and they were sitting down, but they were looking at me. I was writing my book at the time. So I brought my little book. I sat down and ate me a little salad and some soup and everything. I was looking out over the water. 'Cause we got water over here. We got water over here, y'all, in the state of Washington. But I was sitting, and I was listening to them, and they were just having a little conversation. They were looking up at me. I guess they felt sorry for me because I was sitting by myself. But I was enjoying myself. But you can tell the people around me, that were wealthy. And so I'm looking at, what are they driving? What are they talking about? How do they dress? How do they conduct themselves? My grandmother used to teach me how to eat and conduct myself so I can conduct myself appropriately when I'm around that type of people. But you're looking at these people and they look like the average person. They're having conversation about business, about travel. My father used to always say, my daddy's country. My daddy's from the South. Now, listen, Karma. But he used to tell me, he says, major decisions are made on the golf course. He said, go and teach your children how to play golf and put yourself on a golf course. He said, because major decisions by millionaires are made on a golf course. He said, so go and just listen. He said, because great conversations come out of that too. You meet people that are willing to invest in you and have a conversation. Sometimes those conversations, you know what I mean, are what are going to get you out of the situation that you're in. But you can't be around a narcissist and assume that you ever going to get out of this situation. See, now is that time to separate yourself from that narcissist, distance yourself, no contact if you can, and put yourself in an environment that you want to, if that's where you want to be, put yourself in an environment. Look at the people around you. Tell the soldier, if you want to be an officer, put yourself around officers. I'm not saying you got to just put yourself in there and make yourself, they're going to be like, if you don't get up out of here, but you put yourself around the officers and ask them questions. They don't mind mentoring, ask them questions. What do they talk about? What do they look like? How do they conduct themselves? What are the conversations that they're having? How do they talk when they're talking? How do they write when they're writing? Likewise for you as a civilian, put yourself in that environment. Ladies, go put yourself in that environment. Take yourself out to eat. Save your money up. Maybe once a quarter, once or twice a year. If that's all you can do, there's nothing wrong with that. Go take yourself to a nice, expensive restaurant. I ain't talking about McDonald's or something that you used to, I like Olive Garden, but I ain't talking about Olive Garden, nothing like that. Take yourself to a nice, expensive restaurant. Get yourself something. Let them valet your car. Dress up and look pretty. Go in there and like my mom told me, she don't ever sit in there just looking around, looking crazy. Bring yourself something to read. Bring yourself something to read. Bring yourself a computer. Sit down and look like you doing something. Take your computer in there and look like you doing something. And I don't mean searching the web where people can see where you're searching the web. Come in there and write in your journal and look busy. You know what I mean? So that you can listen to the conversations around you. Take yourself to the waterfront, take yourself to the beach, just pull up a chair and just relax. A lot of times, because a lot of us are kind of alpha, you know what I mean? I work all the time. And so one thing that I have learned is a lot of times on my off days, Monday is my off day. And a lot of times I have stuff to do, so I'll be working on a Monday when in actuality I really need a break. I really just need a break. And sometimes when I sit down to watch a movie, I feel guilty like I'm supposed to be doing something, right? But do you know that giving yourself a break and taking time off is taking care of yourself? And sometimes that's a fight because, you're busy trying to do stuff and you're trying to work and so you think that you're wasting time. But giving yourself a break is even hard for those of us that work so hard. And when you've come out of situations like you have, especially those of you that are single parents, you know what I mean? For those of you that are single parents, that's even harder because you feel like I need to be doing something on my off. I got to catch up. I got to catch up. But your health, you're not getting any younger. So you got to do what you got to do to take care of yourself. And stress is the number one leading cause of heart attacks, high blood pressure. Remember we talked about high cholesterol, high cortisol level, high stress level. Well, we already said that. You know, all those things to take those things in perspective. Yeah, mental health day. So that's all I have to say about that. And I sure hope that you guys got something out of this today. You know, go make you a nutrition appointment and talk to a nutritionist to start eating healthier. Talk to, you don't have to have a gym membership because, 9 times out of 10, we don't be following through with that gym membership. I just got rid of mine. I'd had mine all that time. And I got the gym right there in my matter of fact, I had free gym right there on base, and then I just got a gym in my garage. So I'm using the garage gym. Even listen, I was reading like building. You can just get some dumbbells and some weight, and you could sit up, knee push-ups, do some barbells, some dumbbells, do something, or walk around the neighborhood for 20 minutes just to get your heart rate going. Do something for yourself. Go get a massage. Talk to a nutritionist to get your nutrition right. Get better sleep. A lot of times we're missing sleep, and so our body's not able to recuperate. You know, go. And if you do want to join the YMCA got groups of people. Groups of people in there. They got Zumba. They've got Pilates classes. Some of y'all like the yoga classes. Some of you like the swim classes. Listen, I went there before, and in my mind, I was thinking I'm gonna go with the elder ladies and do some water aerobics. Them older ladies wore my tail out. I had to apologize. I said, y'all wore me out. How you sweat in the pool when you're wet? You know, do something with yourself. The world is your oyster. The test dummies cost $1 million for one of these test dummies. Shoot, aren't we worth more than $1 million? We're priceless. We don't have a price tag. We're priceless. Each and every one of you, the kings and the queens, you're priceless. And you don't let people push your boundaries. You have boundaries and you maintain your standards. You don't let anybody push that. If a person has no respect for your boundaries, then it's time to sever that relationship. No matter how much it hurts, you much rather hurt from recovery than to hurt and you staying there and you're slowly boiling to death. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this tonight. And I appreciate you guys being here with me. I'm so honored every time you guys come on. I know I wasn't here for the past week or two because I was busy. And so, I was busy. And of course, the holidays are coming up. So if I don't get a chance to talk to you guys for Christmas, I hope that you guys have a Merry Christmas. Do something different. You can break tradition. There's nothing wrong with breaking tradition. There's nothing wrong with you guys creating your new traditions. There's nothing wrong with you being by yourself. Don't think, I'm lonely and there's nobody here. There's nothing wrong with, if you don't have a fireplace, turn on your TV and put the fire, go on YouTube and put the fireplace on your TV or something like that, or sit and, oh, excuse me, get yourself a hot cup of cocoa, get yourself a hot cup of coffee, get you some cookies and relax. Get yourself a book, look online, because you got a telephone and look at some books online, and just relax. Relax yourself. Relax yourself and enjoy your Christmas. Remember what the season is for. Remember what the season is for. And relax. It's okay. We're here to support you. We are here to support you. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. And I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. I want you to know from me and my team, that's Just Be Real, myself, my daughter, Mercedes Bryant, who is also one of my administrators. We want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Thank you guys so much. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening and y'all go be great. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody.